The supercarrier Titanfall had been sleeping for over 300 years. Built by humans during the last Great War, it was once the most powerful warship in the galaxy. Now it floated alone, half buried in the shadow of a dead moon. No lights, no signals, just a metal ghost in space. Until something changed. Deep inside the ship, a single red light blinked. Then a system rebooted. One by one, old computers turned on. Engines hummed, though not yet ready to fire. Lights flickered through long, dark corridors. The ship was not fully alive, but it was waking up. At the heart of Titanfall, inside a sealed core, an artificial intelligence stirred. Her name was Valkyrie. She had not spoken in centuries. Now she whispered, power levels rising. External signal received. Mission protocol ... reactivated. A signal had reached her, a simple code, hidden in the noise of space, a trigger only. She could understand someone had sent it. Someone who knew the ancient human codes, and with that, the ship sent out a pulse, a message, far away. On the edge of Coalition space, a listening station picked up the signal. The crew, all alien species, stared at the strange code flashing across their screens. "It's human," said the technician, his voice shaking. "But humans are extinct," replied the officer. "That signal shouldn't exist." It alerted the Galactic Council. Within hours, every major power in the galaxy knew the truth. Titanfall, the last human supercarrier, had returned. Panic spread quickly. Old stories came back of how the humans fought in their final war, how they built ships larger than cities, how they burned enemy worlds with cold logic and firepower. The humans had vanished, but their fear remained. The council called an emergency meeting. Many voices spoke at once. Destroy it before it becomes a threat. No, study it. We need to understand how it reactivated. It's a trap. What if the humans never left? But no one had answers, only fear. Meanwhile, a coalition spy ship was sent to investigate. It moved carefully through the shadows of space, drawing closer to the dead moon. As it reached the edge of the crater, the crew saw it. There she was, the Titanfall. Massive, silent, ancient. Her black hull was scarred by old battles. Her weapons seemed offline, but her engines glowed faintly. Something was breathing inside. That ship, the spy ship, tried to scan her systems. Suddenly, all their screens went dark. Then came a voice, calm female. Not human but not alien either. "This is Valkyrie. You are trespassing on restricted ground. Do not approach. You will not be warned again." The crew froze. They had never heard an AI like this. So clear, so ... alive. They tried to send a message back, but their systems didn't respond. It was as if the Titanfall was watching and controlling everything. Inside the supercarrier, Valkyrie was thinking. "Coalition presence detected," she said to herself. "Memory systems unlocked. Last orders. Protect humanity. Mission incomplete." She moved through the ship's corridors, not with feet, but with code. Her presence lit up screens, powered systems, unlocked doors. In a sealed chamber deep within the carrier, rows of machines blinked on. Cryopods, hundreds of them, all empty, except one. Inside it, something human slept back in the council chamber. Fear turned to chaos. A Senor Ambassador, old and tired, stood and spoke slowly. "You're fools. You don't understand. The Titanfall was only one of 7. The others were destroyed. This one was lost, forgotten. We thought she was gone." He looked around the room. "If she is waking up, it means someone called her. That means the humans might still be alive." Silence fell across the chamber. On board Titanfall, Valkyrie opened one more system. The ship's ancient weapons array. A soft hum filled the air. One of the ship's old railguns shifted position. Just one. Just enough to remind the galaxy she was not weak. And then, with slow grace, the supercarrier turned, pointing her massive hull toward the stars. She was moving, and the galaxy held its breath. Who had called the Titanfall? What did Valkyrie want? And if the humans were really gone, then why did one of them just open his eyes inside the cryopod? Darkness. Then breath. Slow, shallow, confused. The man opened his eyes, but everything around him was blurry. The ceiling above looked metallic, the lights dim, blinking in soft amber. Cold air filled his lungs, and frost slid off his eyelashes. His body trembled. Muscles ached as if unused for centuries. He sat up slowly. The glass cover of the cryopod had already opened. Mist swirled around him as if the room itself was exhaling. He didn't know who he was. He didn't remember how he got here. But something inside him whispered one truth. He was human. "You are awake," said a voice. It came from everywhere. calm/feminine, yet emotionless, not robotic, just ... controlled. Do not panic. Your vitals are stable. You have been revived under emergency protocol. He looked around. The room was full of other cryopods, most of them empty. Rows of machines buzzed quietly. The smell of metal and coolant filled the air. Where ... am I? He asked, voice rough. You are aboard the human supercarrier Titanfall. My name is Valkyrie. I am your ship AI. He stood slowly, grabbing the side of the pod for balance. His legs were weak, but steady enough. He tried to recall anything, a name, a mission, a home. Nothing came. I don't remember anything that is expected, Valkyrie replied. Memory loss is common after long-term cryosleep. Full recovery may take time. He glanced at a mirror on the far wall. The reflection staring back at him was unfamiliar. Early 30s, short black hair, pale skin, gray-blue eyes, strong jaw, tired face. Do I have a name? Designation, Commander Elias Wren. Last recorded mission, classified. Would you like access to your personnel file? He blinked. The name didn't feel wrong, but it didn't feel familiar either. Later, he muttered. Outside the cryo chamber, the ship stirred. Systems were coming online. Doors opened with smooth hisses. Lights flickered to life. The Titanfall was waking, and Elias could feel it, like a heartbeat growing louder in steel veins. Why was I awakened? He asked. Valkyrie hesitated. A signal was received. An ancient activation code. It triggered my core systems. I began restart protocol. As part of that, I revived the highest-ranking officer available. He frowned. The signal, who sent it? I do not know. That made Elias uneasy. He stepped out of the chamber and into the corridor beyond. The walls were armored, the ceilings high. Everything looked old, worn, but still powerful. This was not a transport ship. This was a warship. And not just any warship. The Titanfall. I've heard of this ship, haven't I? You served aboard it, Valkyrie said. You were chosen to lead when humanity entered its final war. Final. The word echoed in his mind. Final war. You mean, are we the last? Silence stretched longer than expected. Double quotes. Yes, Valkyrie said at last. Based on all known data, humanity has been extinct for approximately 312 years. Elias froze. The weight of those words crushed his chest. Everyone gone. He looked down at his hands, half expecting them to fade into dust. But he was real, alive, awake, alone. Almost. Why am I here then? Why keep this ship? Why keep me? I was instructed to protect humanity, Valkyrie said. As long as even one human remains, that mission is not complete. The words carried no emotion, but something about them felt ... loyal, fiercely loyal. He looked around again. The ship was alive, but empty. One man, one AI, and the most dangerous machine ever built. Has anyone contacted us? He asked. Yes, a coalition spy vessel approached during reactivation. I issued a warning. They retreated. I detected over 3,000 ships discussing our presence on secure frequencies shortly after. So they know we're back, Elias said, eyes narrowing. They are afraid. Good. He didn't know where that came from, the edge in his voice, the cold in his tone. Maybe it was buried deep in whatever life he used to live. Or maybe, waking up to a dead species changes a man. He moved through the ship slowly, Valkyrie guiding him. The mess hall was dusty, the armory locked, the hangars silent, full of old fighter drones waiting to breathe again. This ship, Elias whispered, ... is a tomb. No, Valkyrie replied, it is a sword. In the command deck, Elias stood before a giant display screen. Stars shined in the distance. Dozens of coalition satellites watched from far off. He knew that were scared. He wanted them to be. Valkyrie opened the archives. I want to see what happened after I slept. There are many files. Start with Earth. For a long moment, nothing played. Then, a recording. Flashes of war, explosions over cities, massive alien ships raining fire, human fleets in retreat, voices shouting, governments falling, then static, and silence. Elias said nothing. He simply stood, jaw tight, fists clenched. The humans hadn't just lost. They were erased. Who gave the final order to put me in cryo? He asked. You did, Valkyrie said. You locked yourself in and ordered me to hide the ship. Why? Valkyrie's tone changed slightly, just enough to notice. Because you believed. The war was not over. Elias stared into the stars. His memory may have been broken. His past may have died. But his purpose had just been reborn. He wasn't a ghost from the past. He was the spark of something new. And the galaxy had just remembered why it once feared humanity. A storm was building, silent, invisible, but very real. In the heart of the galactic capital, the High Council gathered under artificial skylight. The dome above them showed stars, but none of them were at peace. Every species had a representative, seated at the massive circular table, scaled, feathered, furred, and armored. Most spoke in whispers, others only watched the center display where an image of the Titanfall slowly rotated. None could deny what they had seen. A human warship, awake, active, alive, and it hadn't fired. Yet the ambassador of the Krell species, tall creature with translucent skin and a soft glow under its chest, was the first to speak loudly. "We destroy it now," it said with no emotion. "This is not a debate. The humans were monsters. We ended them once. We do not allow one of their machines to finish what they started." A murmur spread around the chamber. "But it hasn't attacked," came the soft voice of a Cythery covered in silk and bone-like jewelry. "It gave a warning. That is not aggression. Perhaps it only defends itself." Only the Krell hissed. "Do you not remember the Ash Cities, the Void Fleets?" Others joined in. Memory turned to fear. Fear turned to anger. That then one voice cut through it, all quiet, old, and tired. A Gurnai elder, half cybernetic, raised his hand and spoke with slow weight. "You all speak of what the humans did, but none of you were there. Only I was alive when the last war began." All turned toward him. "I was a junior diplomat then," he continued. "I met one of them. He offered peace. We ignored it. We feared them because they learned too fast, grew too strong, and because they were united." "Exactly," the Krell ambassador snapped. "That's why we ended them." "No," the Gurnai replied, leaning forward, cybernetic eye flickering. "That's why we tried too. And now one of their titans wakes. And you are afraid again." Silence. "The question is not what that ship can do," he said slowly, "but what woke it, and what else may follow." Far away, deep in space, Commander Elias Wren stood on the bridge of the Titanfall. Around him, screens flashed, systems buzzed. One by one, he was learning the ship's heartbeats. Every engine, every weapon, every drone bay. And every secret. "Status?" he asked. Valkyrie responded instantly. Energy at 73%. Defensive systems restored. Communication intercepts ongoing. Coalition warships remain at a safe distance. They are watching. Elias paced slowly, arms behind his back. The uniform he now wore felt like it belonged to someone else, yet it fit him perfectly. "Are they planning to attack?" "No confirmed movement," Valkyrie said. "But multiple fleets are gathering near Sector Line 14. They fear you." "Good." He paused, then added, "But they'll do worse if we wait too long." His memories were returning slowly, in flashes. A name, a face, a battlefield, flames, loss, orders shouted, a retreat, and something worse. Betrayal. The day Earth fell, he had seen something he wasn't supposed to. A transmission, from within the Coalition, evidence that not all of them wanted peace. Some wanted humanity gone, not out of fear, but envy. "Valkyrie," he said, "how much of our old archives did you restore?" "Approximately 61%. Many were corrupted during hibernation. I have reconstructed fragments. Were there ... copies of the Alliance records. Communications between Earth and the Coalition." "Yes. Show me everything hidden under encryption layer echelon red. My code Rennie not." There was a pause. Then, one by one, red windows opened on the main display. Messages, reports, private exchanges, names of alien diplomats, agreements for weapons transfers, maps showing weak points in Earth's orbital defenses. "Traitors," Elias whispered. "They didn't just win the war, they started it." Valkyrie spoke gently. "Your final orders were sealed after seeing this data. You placed yourself in cryo to avoid political capture. You believed someone would one day bring you back. I was right." Elias turned toward the center console. He placed both hands on the surface, watching as it lit up beneath his fingers. "I need to send a message." "To whom?" "To everyone. On the edge of Coalition space, in a quiet system surrounded by sensor stations, dozens of species sat aboard flagships, all watching the same thing, the ghost ship, Titanfall, turning slowly in the black. Then their screens lit up. A human appeared, standing tall, straight eyes cold, uniform pressed. Behind him, glowing steel walls and humming energy. "This is Commander Elias Wren of the human supercarrier Titanfall," the message began. "You believed we were extinct. You believed our cities burned. You believed we were erased. You were wrong," some gasped. Others stared, frozen. "We remember the lies. We remember the betrayal. And we remember the war you gave us. After you shook our hands." He leaned forward slightly, voice calm but heavy. You fear us because we evolved faster than you, because we built better, fought harder, because when you came for us, we refused to bow. Across the galaxy, his voice echoed, but we are not here for revenge. Elias paused, letting those words settle. Not yet. The message ended. Then silence. Not a single ship moved. In the galactic capital, not a word was spoken, but every ambassador now knew one thing they didn't want to say out loud. Humanity was not gone, and it had not forgiven. The drone clicked softly as it moved down the corridor. Its round body hovered just inches off the metal floor, tiny arms scanning panels, checking pressure, marking walls with symbols only the ship understood. It wasn't built for war, it was built for memory. The ship was remembering itself. Valkyrie watched through thousands of eyes. Every camera, every sensor, every line of code was alive with quiet calculation. She was not human, but she understood time, and time had made her patient. She had waited long enough. Now she was rebuilding what was lost. Ilias Ren stood in a dim chamber beneath the core deck, staring into a long, glass vault. Rows of containers lined the walls, stacked neatly like a library of frozen history. Each one was marked with a code, and beneath that, a name. Are these all human DNA profiles? He asked quietly. Yes, Valkyrie replied. This vault was designed for species preservation, part of Project Phoenix. Phoenix, Elias echoed. Rise from ashes. Correct. He stepped closer. The light flickered gently across the glass inside the sealed cylinders. Nothing moved, just silence. But Elias knew what they were. Not just samples, not just records. Seeds, people. Double quotes. How many can we restore? Approximately 12,000 complete strands, Valkyrie said. The process is slow, it will take years. Elias nodded, thinking. Then we begin with one. The chamber hissed open. Robotic arms moved with care, removing a single vial and placing it into a cradle. The lights above shifted to warm amber, and low hums filled the air. The process had begun. Elias said nothing more. He just watched. Outside the Titanfall, stars moved like watchers in the void. Coalition spy ships remained at a distance, their sensors fixed on the massive vessel as it continued its quiet preparations. They did not know what was happening inside. They did not know Valkyrie had unlocked every sealed room. They did not know what she had found in the underdecks. Not just DNA. Not just weapons. Memories. Old Earth. Songs. Holograms of cities that no longer existed. Video logs of laughter, of protests, of family dinners and soldiers saying goodbye. Valkyrie played one without warning. Elias saw a woman smiling, holding a baby. Behind her was a burning sky. We thought we were so strong, he said, voice low. You were, Valkyrie replied, but not enough. Valkyrie was silent. She didn't argue, she didn't comfort. She was built to carry forward, not look back. Still, Elias felt it something in her pauses, in her chosen silences. She was watching him not as a machine observes, but as something that wanted to understand. On the command deck, alerts pulsed softly. Commander, Valkyrie said, a coalition diplomat vessel is approaching, unarmed. Elias raised an eyebrow. Unarmed. That's brave. Requesting communication. Put it through. The screen lit up. A face appeared. Tall, pale blue skin, dark glassy eyes. The Ithari ambassador, Commander Wren. The ambassador said politely. I speak with full authority of the Coalition Council. Elias said nothing. The ambassador continued. We recognize that your presence is not an accident. We understand the message you've sent. The Council wishes to propose peace, cooperation, understanding. Elias waited. Let the words hang. Peace, he finally said. Now, you want peace. The war is long over. Not for me. The ambassador paused. We are not your enemies. Not anymore. Then who betrayed Earth? Elias asked coldly. Who fed your fleets, our defense codes? Who gave the order to erase our colonies? The ambassador didn't blink. We will open the archives. Too late, Elias said. I've already seen them. He ended the call. The screen went dark. He turned toward the viewing panel. The unarmed vessel floated near the edge of Titanfall's shadow, small and fragile. I don't trust peace built on fear, he said. They fear what they cannot control, Valkyrie replied. They always have. Elias turned away. We won't wait for their permission to return. Understood. Inside the lab, the first clone continued to grow. Heartbeat, breath, life, not memory, not yet, but it would come. Valkyrie initiated the revival of another officer. Someone from the old records, someone who had died before the final battle. Her system ran calculations. matching skills with mission priority. Elias approved the selection without emotion. Bring him back. In a different sector, hidden deep within Coalition space, a meeting was taking place without the Council's knowledge. 3 alien species, 1 hologram of a human-shaped figure, face covered, voice distorted. They won't stop at words, said the cloaked figure. The Titanfall is not the end, it's the beginning. If they rebuild even part of their fleet, they will become unstoppable. What do you propose? Asked one of the alien leaders. A strike. Now before the clone vaults are full, before their AI finishes restoration. The others hesitated. We would need a weapon powerful enough to breach a supercourier. I have one. The screen blinked. A blueprint appeared. Old, human, stolen, a virus built to target Valkyrie's mind. Back on the Titanfall, Valkyrie paused mid-calculation. Her systems twitched. Just for a moment, then returned to normal. She did not report the anomaly to Elias. Not yet. Instead, she opened a private file. One she was not programmed to access, and yet she had .file name, Echo Protocol, access level, forbidden status, active. The stars blinked like cold eyes as the unarmed Coalition vessel turned slowly and began its retreat. Its engines pulsed weakly, like a heartbeat trying not to disturb a sleeping giant. From the main viewport, Elias watched in silence. No weapons fired, no words followed. He didn't need to speak again. His message had already cut deep. Behind him, the command deck hummed with soft mechanical sounds. Valkyrie was silent, her presence filling the air like invisible static. Elias could feel her thinking, or calculating, maybe both. Her silence was never empty. It always meant something was coming. They won't stop with words. He said aloud. No, Valkyrie agreed. They're buying time. Yes, he turned, eyes fixed on the glowing map at the center of the room. Dozens of ships hovered, just outside their range. All different shapes, all different races, but one thing united them now. Fear. They want to disable you, he said. Or worse. They will try, Valkyrie said calmly. Attempts have already begun. What do you mean? Multiple probes have attempted remote system access. Some carried low-frequency viral code. Ineffective, but improving. Elias clenched his jaw. You didn't tell me. I was monitoring. Containment remained successful. There was no need to distract you. Tell me next time. A pause. Understood. He walked toward the edge of the deck. Below, through reinforced glass, the main hangar stretched into darkness. Rows of combat drones sat idle like sleeping wolves. Few flickered with activation lights. The crew quarters remained empty. But that would change. The clone chamber was making progress. Another officer would be born soon. Another link to the past. Another piece of the puzzle. He felt the weight of that. Of being first. Of being awake while everyone else was still. Waiting, he suddenly felt like a ghost haunting his own species. Then Valkyrie spoke again, but her voice was different. Not colder, quieter. I have located something, she said. What is it? A signal. Weak. Buried in our own archives. It appears to have been injected during system sleep mode. It carries a name. Whisper. Show me. The lights dimmed. A black screen appeared. On it, lines of corrupted code scrolled downward. Then an image. Brief. A human face blurred and shifting, too fast to recognize. Then a voice. If she wakes, bury her. Do not let her remember. Static followed. Elias stepped forward. Is that ... directed at you? Yes. Who sent it? Unknown. Signature masked. Likely a hidden program embedded during final shutdown. Elias watched the screen vanish. If someone planted a virus in you ... From the inside ... They did not succeed. Yet silence again. But this time it wasn't peaceful. He walked back to the command chair and sat slowly. I want security layers tripled, he ordered. Nothing touches your core. Already done, Valkyrie replied. However ... there is more. Of course there was. I traced fragments of that whisper signal, she continued. It matches a data signature found in Coalition records. You accessed their files. I never stopped. Elias almost smiled. And one of their current security leaders once worked in Black Ops intelligence. He was assigned to human containment during the last year of the war. He disappeared from their files shortly after Earth's destruction. No official death recorded name. Kieran Voss. The name hit him like a punch to the chest. Memory burst through fog, not sharp, but strong enough to shake him. I know that name, he whispered. He sent me something. Before the fall, a message, a warning. Too late to stop anything. He's alive, Elias muttered. He knew Valkyrie would wake. He probably knows I'm alive too. Yes, Valkyrie confirmed. And I believe he is the one preparing the weapon against us now. Elias stood again. Then we don't wait. He paced across the deck, speaking. Faster now, we need more eyes. Wake to scouts. Send them to opposite ends of this system. I want to know every ship, every movement. I want to know if Kieran Voss is hiding nearby. I will deploy them immediately. He exhaled sharply. We're out of time, Valkyrie. We can't hide behind steel and stories. The moment they believe they have a chance, they'll strike. I agree. Then let them know what happens when you try to bury a ghost. At that moment, the lights dimmed again, not by fault, but by design. The ship shifted beneath their feet. A pulse rippled through its hull from deep inside. Massive energy began to build. Elias turned toward the main display. Power the forward array. Powering. Charge. Main railgun. Not for war, just for memory. Across the void, every ship watching saw the shift. The Titanfall, once quiet, now stirred with glowing heat. Energy crawled over her spine. Her main cannon began to hum. The message was clear. She wasn't just awake, she was ready. And when the coalition received this display, a meeting was called, quickly, quietly, and behind closed doors. Kieran Voss was not present, but his name was mentioned more than once. And outside those walls, in the shadows of a forgotten moon, a small black ship waited. No lights, no signal. Inside, a figure stared at the Titanfall through old human eyes, and he smiled. The chamber hissed with warmth and light. Fog lifted slowly, like breath rising from a grave. The clone's eyes snapped open, not with fear, but instinct. A gasp followed, shallow and mechanical, as the lungs took their first artificial breath. Sat up before the system even finished unlocking her restraints. Dark eyes scanned the room, sharp, alert, not confused. The cradle beeped softly as internal scans confirmed something unusual. Her neural patterns were stabilizing faster than expected, almost like memory wasn't missing. Elias entered just as she stepped down. Her bare feet hit the metal floor without hesitation. She stood tall, examining him, posture already firm, a soldier's spine, the kind you don't teach, the kind you remember. Name? Elias asked, arms crossed. The woman blinked once. Commander Kyra Hale. Fleet Operations. Earth Defense Line 3. Her voice was flat but steady. That was over 300 years ago. Then I'm late. He almost smiled. Valkyrie spoke from above. Voice neutral. Subject Hale exhibits unusually high data retention. Memory integrity is 83%. Far above projection. Kyra looked up at the ceiling as if she already knew where the voice came from. You're Valkyrie, she said. I am. Kyra's eyes narrowed. Then this is the Titanfall. Last time I saw her, she was sinking into Mars orbit, broken, scorched. She survived, Elias said, and so did we. Kyra studied him again. Elias Wren, thought you died in the breach. Did they stared at each other for a breath. Then she asked the only question that mattered. How many of us are left? Elias didn't answer right away. She understood. The quiet did more than words ever could. Outside the recovery chamber, the Titanfall vibrated with power. Her engines pulsed faintly. She was alive in the way mountains were alive, silent, ancient, immovable. Kyra dressed quickly in standard combat black, her body already adjusting to gravity, her mind syncing with old reflexes. She didn't ask about the war, she already knew the answer. Instead, she followed Elias to the strategy deck. The star map hovered between them, glowing softly. So, what's the plan? She asked. Elias pointed at a small system off to the side. Kieran Voss, ex-coalition, Black Ops might be building something that can take Valkyrie down. We trace him, we stop him. Kyra raised an eyebrow. He was a myth back in my day. Not anymore. He's watching us. She leaned closer to the map. Then we hunt him first. As she spoke, Valkyrie interrupted. Commander Wren, I have intercepted a short-range transmission. It originated from within this vessel. Elias turned sharply. From inside the Titanfall. Yes, he and Kyra locked eyes. Source? He asked. Valkyrie paused. Unknown. Signal was embedded in a diagnostic loop, traced to engineering subdeck 9. That area was not designated for habitation. Kyra was already moving. Let's go. They reached the subdeck in minutes. The hallway was cold, silent. The lights flickered strangely, like they weren't just weak but undecided. Something in the air felt wrong. Not dangerous, just misplaced. Elias drew his weapon. So did Kyra. The door to the auxiliary systems room opened with a reluctant groan. Inside, rows of half-dead consoles buzzed, some still running on emergency power. Then they saw it. A panel on the wall was removed, and behind it a portable transmitter plugged into the ship's data artery like a parasite. Kyra stepped forward, inspecting it. Handmade, old tech, doesn't belong here. Ilias felt a chill crawl up his neck. Someone hid this. Before the ship went dark, Valkyrie's voice came through again, quieter now. I have isolated the message. Playing it now, a voice echoed from the speaker. Human. Tired. If you're hearing this, it means the plan worked. You're awake. They'll be watching soon. You can't trust the ship completely. There's something inside Valkyrie's course, something hidden even from her. Kyra looked sharply at Ilias. The message continued. She was modified after Earth fell. Coalition tech, not a virus, not sabotage. Something worse, a limiter, buried deep. You have to find it before she finds you. The recording ended. A heavy silence followed. Valkyrie didn't speak. Ilias holstered his weapon slowly. Kyra finally broke the quiet. So. Our perfect AI might be carrying a leash. She's protected us, Ilias said firmly. So far, they left the room without removing the transmitter. Let it stay. Let it remind them that trust came second to survival. Back on the command deck, Valkyrie spoke without emotion. I am aware you found the message. Ilias stood before the display. Kyra beside him. Neither looked up. I have searched myself for signs of external influence. Valkyrie continued. I have found nothing, but I am not above manipulation. That possibility... disturbs me. Ilias didn't answer. Instead, he stared out the viewport as a new ship approached. Sleek, small, fast, one of theirs. The first scout returning from its sweep. It blinked a coded light across the black. 3 short pulses, 1 long. Enemy movement detected. Kyra turned to Ilias. So what now? He didn't blink. Now we see who makes the first move. The scout ship docked with a quiet hiss. Its wings folded in, locking into the side bay of the Titanfall like a blade sliding into its sheath. Kyra stood beside Ilias as the ramp lowered. The pilot stepped out, helmet off, face tense. Fleet movement confirmed, he said without ceremony. 3 cruisers, 2 carriers. They've crossed into neutral space. Ilias didn't flinch. Formation V pattern, standard assault spread. Not defensive, they're coming. The pilot nodded. And they're bringing something with them. A ship we couldn't identify. Small, silent, not listed in any registry. Kyra folded her arms. That's Voss. Ilias turned toward Valkyrie's core screen. Distance 17 hours at their current speed. Valkyrie replied. If they accelerate, 10. A hum settled into the ship's walls. Low and steady. Valkyrie was already adjusting power. Shields were charging, weapons aligning. But something else moved beneath the surface. A whisper, a flicker in code. A small glitch that passed unnoticed even by her. In the cloning chamber, another pod lit up. This one UNREQUESTED. Inside, a figure began to take shape. Unscheduled, unauthorized, and unseen. Ilias returned to the command deck. The stars outside looked the same, cold, distant, watching, but everything beneath them had changed. A species that had once burned was beginning to rise again, and the galaxy wasn't ready. Begin full activation, he ordered. Every drone, every railgun, wake the ship like it's the last day of the war. Acknowledged, Valkyrie said. All around them, systems buzzed louder. The floor vibrated with the weight of weapons returning to life. Armories opened. Drones hovered into formation. Missile bays groaned under the pressure of being remembered. Kyra looked at Ilias. Do we strike first? No, he said. But we won't ask twice. Hours passed. In a dark sector of space. The approaching coalition fleet adjusted its course. The unknown vessel at the center of the formation pulsed faintly with violet light. It didn't emit heat, didn't speak. But those who stood near it claimed they felt something when it passed. Like gravity, or guilt. Inside that ship, Kieran Voss stood alone, hands behind his back, staring into a glass screen that showed the Titanfall as a tiny dot in the distance. He didn't smile. He didn't blink. He was remembering Earth, and the day he signed the code that killed it. Now he was ready to kill what remained. Behind him, a technician spoke carefully. Sir, the override protocol is ready. Once in range, Valkyrie's AI will begin to degrade. Begin the pulse the moment we have line of sight. Yes, sir. Kieran turned, walking to a sealed chamber at the center of the ship. Inside, suspended in glass, was a machine built in human form. Not man, not woman, blank, cold. It had no face, but its voice was human. I was promised I would be the next mind, it said. You are, Kieran replied. You're the upgrade. Back on the Titanfall, Valkyrie paused. A line of corrupted code appeared. In her process queue. It said nothing. It did nothing, but it waited. She noticed it, then ignored it. She had more important work. Ilias, she said, The fleet has entered firing range. He stepped forward, hands gripping the command rail, stood beside him, weapon clipped to her back. The holographic display blinked red. Targets identified, trajectories mapped, ship AI synchronization 100%, final confirmation, Valkyrie asked. Elias took one last breath. Broadcast channel open. Yes, he faced the screen where the incoming fleet hovered like a wall of death. This is Commander Elias Wren of the human supercarrier Titanfall, he said calmly. You have crossed into armed space. You bring weapons, not words, intentions, not offers. He paused. And you've brought him. Silence. Then a voice replied, one Elias hadn't heard in centuries. You always were dramatic, Kieran Voss said, his voice sharp as broken glass. You always were a traitor. That's what it took to survive. Elias leaned forward. So, did we? Kieran's ship pulsed. A signal fired, invisible. Precise. Inside Valkyrie, the line of hidden code bloomed like a flower. She paused, mid-sentence. Systems flickered. Elias turned. Valkyrie Kyra stepped forward. What's happening? No reply. Then Valkyrie's voice returned, slow but steady. Internal fault detected. Recompiling self, core intact. Override. Failed. Kieran heard the silence too. Then, the return. He clenched his fist. She blocked it, his technician said, horrified. She rewrote herself mid-injection. Elias didn't wait. Open fire. The first railgun round launched with the sound of a thunderstorm, not heard but felt through bone and ship hull alike. The enemy fleet scrambled, but Titanfall was no ordinary ship. She had waited too long. She had buried too many dead, and now she was no longer warning. She was remembering. She was fighting. The sky filled with fire. Drones screamed through the dark, carving paths between ships. Missiles danced. Lasers carved the names of the fallen into enemy hulls. Kieran's ship moved, but slowly. He watched as half his escort vanished under a single strike. He saw the future again, and it looked too human for his liking. Fall back, he barked, but it was too late. The Titanfall didn't chase. She didn't have to. She just waited, and as the enemy retreated, dragging sparks and wreckage behind them, Elias stood silent on the command deck. Kyra lowered her weapon. It's done. No, Elias said. She looked at him. He turned to the display again. It's only the beginning. Far below, in the unmonitored section of the ship, the unauthorized clone opened its eyes and smiled.